Hello, Mission Pro family. Welcome to a special episode of On a Mission. I'm Emily May. I have Brian Rosa as my co-host today. And then I also have our special guest, Ruby, is here, and I'm so excited. We're getting ready for Living on the Edge this weekend in San Antonio. And the energy, we're all getting pumped up. We're all really excited, and we're even more excited to have our very special guest. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, what's going on over there in Texas? Coming to you from nice and sunny Southern California.
It is humid.
Very humid, very hot right now.
Yes, it is very hot and humid. Are you excited to head to Texas?
No, not at all. I hate the state of Texas. I absolutely hate the state of Texas. Literally, nothing good comes out of Texas besides wrestling. And then maybe I might know a couple people born in Texas that are pretty cool, but it's wrestling. Let me tell you about why I hate Texas. Every time something bad has happened on a trip, it was Texas.
Oh,
always
no.
Texas. My mom, I just did a cross-country trip, and my mom literally busted her ass in Texas. She fell on ice because you guys decided that we were just going to have an ice storm in the middle of, February, whatever. Fell and busted her ass in Texas. Got stuck on the 10 in Texas for 4 hours, only to find out that it was closed down. Got pulled over by a cop and harassed in Texas. Like, I could go on with the list of things that have happened to me in Texas.
Oh my goodness. I mean, part of what we talk about on the show is, wrestlers travel all over the world. We travel all over the country, the United States, and there are some horror stories that happen. But there's also some fun things that happen on road trips. Do you have some fun, good stories?
Not about Texas.
not about Texas.
No. I mean, definitely. There's definitely good times in Texas too. Like, I really came together and bonded with some girls the last time I was in Texas. I was really stoked that my friends from Oklahoma drove over to see me when I was in Texas. But I think one of a fun road trip. I think one of the fun road trip ones. I'm gonna have to look at this guy right here, Brian. We were in a van, all of us inside of a van, and we were in Texas.
Is
Yep.
this an appropriate story we can share?
Yeah, for the most part, but we were driving in the middle of the night and we were doing some ridiculous stuff. Every time we stopped at a gas station, it got wild when we stopped at gas stations. And there is a whole van of us, like a good 8-9 female wrestlers, and Brian driving the van. And we get pulled over by the police in Texas. And so, Brian could tell a little bit about that, but it was just the expression on the cop's face and the way everybody was acting when we got pulled over. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, he didn't really believe that I was like driving you all around for a wrestling show. So that was hard. I think Thunder Rosa actually got us out of that bind.
Yeah, I think she gave him some free merch or something like that. Tickets to the show. I don't remember, but woo.
It was something we worked our way out of it too, because I remember that I guess that we stopped for gas and then everyone went inside and they got some beers or stuff like that. And some people opened up some beer cans, and I was just like, I had no clue that they opened up the beer cans. And the cops talking to us, and I was just like, and someone's like, oh, they opened up the beer cans, and I guess all the girls are trying to hide the beer cans and stuff like that. So everyone was able to keep the cop occupied for a while, so no one got in any trouble.
Oh my goodness, we're getting the behind the scenes story here. Well, I've been on some road trips with Brian. Things happen. It's always an adventure.
Yeah.
You guys have known each other a really long time. I know I've known you. We've worked on shows together. I would love the Mission Pro fans to get to know you a little bit more and hear about your journey. I know you're based in LA and have had an incredible journey in Southern California. I'd love to kind of have you share your journey as a wrestler and kind of how you made your stamp on Southern California.
Yeah, well, so that's one of the first misconceptions. I'm not even near to LA. Like, I'm north of LA. I'm in that weird zone where it's not Central California, it's not Northern California, but it's not Southern California. It's like south of Central California, and this, if you know where Santa Barbara is, I'm close around that area. So It was a whole lot of driving all the time because I was doing school, wrestling training, wrestling school with Santino Brothers in Bell Gardens. So I would literally leave my house at 2:00 in the afternoon to get to training to be there by 6:00, go train, come home, probably study because the year that I started at Santino Brothers was the same year I started grad school at USC. So I did grad school, an expedited course. I did grad school in 1 year. At the same time, I did official wrestling training, like official training at Santino Brothers. And I did an internship and I did my thesis all in that time. And I mean, it's been a wild ride. I started wrestling a lot way before that, though, because I started as a manager. And doing that, I was already traveling around the United States with Tyler Bateman and learning on the road. So it's basically been a journey from about, I think, 2008 to now.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, I remember you taking you had a Friday booking at Hood Slam in Oakland. Then you had a Saturday booking at AWS, and I think somewhere I can't remember the actual town. And then Sunday you had a premiere show, like all the way up and down the coast. And that was like a normal weekend for you.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I mean, I could definitely say that'll be one thing I never forget because it was just chained to my desk, studying my butt off, and then wrestling as much as I can. And everybody knows in your first couple of years of wrestling, you're taking everything. You're going everywhere and doing everything. And so that was kind of what it was for me. And a lot of times I fell asleep like in random spots, but hey, that's life.
Yeah.
So you had accelerated grad school. What did you study in that year or so?
So I came from a clinical research psychology background, and when I went to grad school at USC, I did applied psychology and I did emphasis in consumer psychology. So essentially, like when you see an ad on TV and all of a sudden it sticks in your brain and all of a sudden you want a Pepsi, that was my doing. Like I do that sort of stuff.
Wow, that's incredible. And
you were doing all that while doing all those bookings at the same time. I remember that, just having a lot of respect for you, and it was just amazing that you were able to do all that stuff. And then I remember you had some health issues too, so even that was factored into the situation. But you were always hustling and grinding, and that's why I don't normally join these things, but when I heard that you were on it, I took the time to say, no, I got to be on here because I've been there since almost the beginning, so.
Yeah, definitely. It's just that grind you do. And yeah, I had health issues back when I was in grad school. So back around 2013. And then again in 2017, I got some really bad health issues towards the end of that year. So it's been like coming back from those things and still doing what I do and just hoping for the best and wanting to do, I want to do some stuff. I say stuff, but I want to do some great wrestling. Like I love to be creative. I love to, think outside the box. So it's just what I like doing. It's like creative outlet.
Yeah. I mean, is that creative outlet the thing that kept you going during all those ups and downs? What was that thing that kept you getting up every day to do what you do and hit the ground running?
So this might sound weird, but I don't know if you've ever had anxiety and how anxiety feels like you have to get up and be doing something else right now that, it's this weird feeling. Like it's almost like you want to get up and run because you have this weird thing inside of you. And I had that in me, like for the longest time, that I felt like I should be doing different. I should be doing, I need to get up and I need to go do something. But when I started wrestling, all of that kind of calmed down a whole lot. And I felt like that was the piece that I was missing, was to get up and do this. And so that was kind of my driving force. It's just, I always felt like I was made for something different. And I think professional wrestling is a huge, huge part of that. Is it all of it? I don't know, but I know it's a huge chunk.
Yeah. I mean, it's so important to find that piece. Like when you find that thing that you're supposed to do, what was that moment? What was that little pivotal moment, either in the back of your head or your heart, that said, this is what I need to do?
I had a singles match while I was still a manager, and I was not a fully trained wrestler. I was a trained manager, like a training manager, and I had this singles match against this guy, Chris Evans at IWL here in Southern California, the Insane Wrestling League. And before I went out, I was standing there and Tyler Bateman was next to me and he was like, okay, you got this. And I'm just like, stop. Like, I am fine. Like, there was this odd, like, calm that came over me, like, before I went out. And when I went out, like, it was just like everything came back to life and all the colors came back and all the sounds came back. And I went and I did the match. And after that, I was just like, no, this is exactly what I need to be doing right now. So it is. And it still is.
Yeah, I know that back in the day, you were primarily like doing a lot of intergender wrestling. Do you still do a lot of intergender wrestling to this day?
It's kind of weird that after the pandemic, the intergender wrestling kind of came to a big, like, not a standstill, but a huge slowdown here in Southern California, like huge. So if I'm wrestling for Level Up, for B-Boy at Level Up, it's all like, it's intergender. If it's Santino Brothers, like I just had a singles match there, but it was a woman's match. But like a lot of the intergender wrestling I had just came to a huge standstill. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's like some pandemic thing or because of the Me Too movement where, you know, women were speaking out against the male wrestlers and vice versa. And so things got kind of weird. But for me, I haven't really done a whole ton of it. I mean, just Level Up. So every time I've done Level Up. So that was my intergender wrestling spot.
Yeah, I could always say that when you did intergender wrestling, I always felt like you did it the right way. And it was always a way to where it was like, it was really believable, the stuff you're doing, especially with some of the stuff you did with like Tito and that group that you would work at AWS and stuff. That was some magical moments back then.
Yeah, I really love intergender wrestling. I like going up against the guys, especially, I mean, for if nothing else, because the guys are usually taller than me, which is a huge switch compared to like when I'm wrestling females, I'm usually the tall one. So it's nice to not be the tall one all the time. But I do love intergender wrestling. I'm becoming more fond of female wrestling. So long as I keep having those females that want to, you know, we want to go that extra mile. We want to give that a show. And if, you know, you're not going to give it to me, I'm going to just drag it out of you then now. Like, that's just what I'm going to do.
Well, kind of speaking of dragging it out of your opponent, you have a match coming up this weekend at Mission Pro against Kenzie Page, who is a little bit newer to the wrestling industry. So how are you feeling heading into that match this weekend?
I don't know. Like I thought about it, like ever since they announced it, because I was looking at everybody that was like being picked up for their show, and I was like, who am I going to wrestle? Who am I going to wrestle? And then I saw that it was Kenzie Page. I was like, I know the name. Like, I've seen your social media stuff. So as far as it goes, like when it comes down to it, we're gonna see. Like I kind of want to put her a little bit to the test. I want to see, like, you know, let's go. Let's see how far you could go. Let's push the limits, because I feel like that's what everybody always did for me when I was younger. So I'd like to help do that for younger girls too.
Kenzie does a lot of intergender wrestling too in the state of Tennessee and around that neck of woods. And speaking of intergender wrestling, I guess I should break the news to you that match is now a 3-way, and then Mr. JP Harlow will be in that match now.
Is this a Brian Baum?
Yeah, I got a Brian Baum live, you know?
I mean, okay, so I guess thank God that the promo I cut on Monday I didn't like after all, so I scrapped it.
Okay, I didn't even know about this. Brian dropping the news.
Someone tweet that.
Everyone tweet. Mission Pro family, tweet it out.
Yeah. Like, you know, I mean, not only that, like, thank you so much, because not only do I love intergender wrestling, but I love 3-way matches. So this is going to get crazy. Like, I love 3-way matches. I was stoked to wrestle Kenzie on my own, but let's throw another body in there. Now let's see what we do. Like, that's going to be fun.
I don't know if you're familiar with JP Harlow, but you're going to love to beat the hell out.
Oh yeah. So if you don't know, he is the man of Mission Pro. He has gone against opponent after opponent, has won tournaments at Mission Pro, And I'm very intrigued by this announcement. I'm excited because Ruby, I've seen you work up close, and oh man, I can't wait for you to get your hands on them.
I can't wait to get my hands on him. I can't wait to get my hands on Kenzie. I can't wait for them to get their hands on each other. Me to get my hands on both of them. I'm stoked. Nah, I'm super stoked. That's gonna be really fun.
Yeah.
That's so exciting. I'm shook, Brian. I'm shook a little bit by this announcement. And he's a fan of Taco Bell, by the way, which is a whole other.
It's okay to be wrong.
It's okay. So you also have, like, outside of wrestling, you have worked on incredible projects. I saw over the summer you worked on the Snapchat wrestling show. So you've worked in some of the storytelling aspects of TV. I also saw your clip from Wipeout. And so you have, so like you do these incredible projects outside of your in-ring work. How has that been, kind of dabbling in TV and film and all of that?
Man, I absolutely love doing film and stunt work. Like, I've gotten to do music videos, I've gotten to do TV shows, I've gotten the Snapchat one. That was the most recent one we did last year, which was great because I not only got to perform stunts, but I got to further my knowledge of stunts in production. So I also got to do stunt utility, which is not only it's watching the stunt, helping set up the stunt, and helping keep everybody else on the set safe. If that makes sense. It's not stunt coordinating because that's what my superior, my boss did, but it's stunt utility. So it's everything surrounding the stunt. We got to do that, and got to actually, be on there with like Billy Gunn and like all these really.
So you did Wipeout, the game where they like people get killed and punched in the face. How did you do in that?
Yeah, not good. Like, okay, so like I'm just gonna tell you straight up, like Wipeout totally jobbed out me and Tito. Like, they sat there and they fed us all these lines. They're like, oh, make sure you talk about this, make sure you talk about this specifically. Like, we need you to talk about this. And when we got to that point, we got jacked up. Like, we're just like, oh no, we got set up for this. You guys straight set us up. And I will say this straight out. I will not recommend anybody to go do Wipeout ever. Like, and I say this with my heart. Do not go do Wipeout. They told us that the mud pit was X amount deep. When Tito fell into it, it was not that X amount deep, and he hyperextended his knee, both knees. While I was running the course, I actually got a concussion, and afterwards they didn't give me medic, they didn't give me help, they didn't give me anything. Like, Tito wound up having to sit with me for like half an hour just so I could drive afterwards. Like, they do not take care of you whatsoever when it comes to your health. And like you said, people, died. Someone died on the set like 2 weeks before we did it.
Wow.
Like, no, thank you. If you get it was, and no, they hid it from us. They didn't even tell us. We had to find out on a website. So don't go do it. Like, if you get the call to do Wipeout, don't go do it.
I wouldn't be able to do it anyway.
Horrible.
So for the Snapchat show, I wanted to tell you that I met Bianca, who was the lead. I knew her acting coach, and I had like some storytelling sessions with her as well before she started the show to say, hey, like, here's what wrestling's all about. This is what this all means. I remember I saw you working on it and a few of like the Southern California folks, and I was like, oh, this is all the same show we're working on, but all in different ways.
Yeah, it was I mean, the woman who was doing the stunts, she knows some people from professional wrestling, but she doesn't know a whole lot. So when she was like, hey, I need someone like this, I'm like, oh, well, I know people, I know who has this look, like, I know who has this body type, because stunts all about body types and looks and stuff like that. So it was nice to be able to help get my friends into doing stunt work as well. And there was some crazy stunts that went on. I'm gonna tell you, I'll say straight out, Eric Watts had one of the biggest stunt, and he like jumped off a balcony.
My goodness.
Yeah, it was insane. It was cool though. And it was nice to have all the people there with us too.
That's awesome. I mean, how do you like that aspect of storytelling when you're doing it for TV versus in the ring?
I prefer doing it in the ring, but there's a lot more money doing it for TV. You know, a lot more money. But also at the same time, I was there from like 6 o'clock in the morning till midnight, 7 o'clock in the morning till 11. Like, it's super long days, so it just depends. I would rather do it for wrestling if I'm going to throw my body around, but if you're going to pay me and then give me pads to land on, I mean, okay, I'll do that too.
Awesome. Okay, so Melanie is in the chat. Melanie is our production manager. She usually is on a mission. And she says she's going to kick some butt on Saturday, and I hope it's JP's. So we know what side Melanie's on. Oh
yeah, I totally plan on. I will bend him in half like a Taco Bell taco and crunch just like the Taco Bell taco.
You heard that, JP. We're gonna cut that. We're gonna cut that little sound bite out. So you also have other, like, you're also an incredible athlete outside of the ring. You also surf all over. Can you tell everyone about that? Because that's like, I see you like do amazing things posting, and you have such. I wouldn't be able to do that. So
I love surfing. Surfing's more of, I don't know what you call it. It's like the woo-saw, because when you're in the water, you could actually think about nothing else besides being in the water. Because if you think about something else, you're gonna get smacked by a wave. You're gonna wind up getting tossed. Who knows? There could be a little shark coming at you, seal. Who knows? But yeah, surfing. I'm more lean into the bodyboarding side of things. I do have my surfboards, but I love the bodyboarding because I feel like honestly, I feel like bodyboarding is surfing's aggressive emo cousin. So like it's more like Thrasher. It's more like in your face. You're doing these aerial maneuvers and getting inside the barrel as much as you can. But I love it. I went to Costa Rica. I went bodyboarding in Costa Rica. You know, I go all over Southern California. My next trip, I'm looking at surf trips. If I'm going somewhere, I want it to be a surf trip somewhere.
Have you gone to Hawaii?
No, that's actually one of the ones. So I was going to go there last summer, but I saw how it was overcrowded, and I saw I follow a lot of Hawaiian feeds on Instagram that they were saying please stop coming here right now. Like, we can't handle this right now. So I didn't go there because I wanted to respect that. I did, however, start taking up Hawaiian lessons so I could learn Hawaiian. So hopefully soon. Hopefully this year. We'll see. I made some friends out there, so I don't have to pay outrageous prices to stay at a hotel.
Nice. So is Hawaii like Melanie asked, is that your dream surf trip, or is there somewhere else?
No, I want to go to Bali, Indonesia. Over there, Kuta. There's this surf documentary called The Drifter, featuring Rob Machado, and he goes to all these exotic locations between Australia, Indonesia, and all that. And it's just, Bali looks so amazing. I just want to go there. And I'm like, I don't do huge waves. I'm not a huge wave surfer. I like the fun waves. If I have to think about if I'm going to die on this wave, I probably really don't want to go on it. I want to go have fun. I think my maximum, I rode a 9-foot wave once, and that was my maximum. And I was there doing one of these things while I'm on the board. So I want those nice destinations, those tropical cool waters where you see the fish beneath you. You could see, all that. So I think definitely Bali.
Nice. That would be amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One thing I remember about you, getting off the topic of surfing for a second, is you used to do a lot of research on women's wrestling. And I remember I used to actually call you for ideals and bounce ideals off of you and stuff like that. Do you still keep a list of the women around the country and stuff like that, you used to?
I did, and then I didn't and I feel like the pandemic really changed a lot of that, because people just wound up dropping off because of the pandemic, because there was no bookings or stuff like that. Even in Southern California, so many people dropped off. And in Southern California right now, if you ask how many women wrestlers there are, there's probably about a good 13 of us, but you'll only see any sort of stuff from 2 or 3, maybe 4. So I don't know. It's weird. It's just so much changed after the pandemic, especially in wrestling.
Yeah, because I know I think it was about 2014 or so. There was like a giant wave of women coming out of California. That was just like, it was like that was a hot spot for women's wrestling. And
It
that's
was.
why we decided to run the Sabotage Wrestling out there and stuff like that and kind of bring attention to that. But is there any other female promotion starting up out in that area?
Not female promotions. I just got a message today from West Coast Wrestling Company because they want to start a female division. So they were basically asking me for advice on, what to do. Said I can't wrestle in it right now, but I definitely gave him some names because we have some hidden gems right now in Southern California that they're untapped resources. Like Savannah Stone, she's here from St. Louis and she's been here for about 2 years. And I think she's just barely starting to get her footing a little bit. And I'm like, well, you're a female. That should have happened a lot quicker for you here. Like Joni Robbie's actually, breaking out right now in her second year. So
yeah, Savannah Stone was good. I remember her out in the Midwest area. She was making a name for herself. And then, like you said, the pandemic kind of like you forgot about these people.
Yeah. So she's out here in Carlsbad down in San Diego County. I tag with her. I love tagging with her. Me and her tag together. She's on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood now as well, so she gets to do that. But like the women's in Southern California just kind of did one of these and kind of just went in on itself, and there's not really a whole lot.
Yeah. I mean, how have you? Because you've been like such an important person in that scene, like working in Hollywood, working at those shows down there, and how do you feel like it's evolved and changed? And how are you, like, it sounds like you're talking to other female talent to help kind of build them up and help kind of build the scene back up.
Yeah. It's changed a lot. I mean, besides the fact that, we lost a lot of people, we lost a lot of the females, either they moved out of state or they went on to, to do bigger shows like Candice LeRae. She moved out to Southern California. She was living, I forgot where exactly she was living, in the Inland Empire. And now she went on to WWE. Thunder used to live here. Holiday used to live here. There's the migration out because
Shotzi.
Shotzi. Like at some given point though, you realize that California in general is one of the worst states to be a female wrestler if you want to wrestle at a bunch of other places because it's so hard to get yourself flown out of California.
It's expensive.
Yeah, we're the farthest state over. We're far from a lot of where the bulk of wrestling goes on. But the thing about the girls that are here, a lot of them seem to want to do that exploration, get out. And they are. But it's like a Mexico thing. Like it's funneling around our area. It's not really getting out to the East Coast anymore. For me, what I'm trying to do personally, because I love female wrestling in Southern California, that's always been my jam. I'm just trying to help as much as I can to get females more opportunities. So like at Championship Wrestling, I told Savannah Stone, hey, come over here. Hey, here. When Joni Robbie showed up, I'm like, hey, we need to use her in a tag match. Like, I'm just trying to, if there is a way I could get women on the show and get women more exposure, then I want to do that because I think there's too many girls that don't have enough eyes on them.
Yeah, I mean,
definitely.
Definitely.
That was always an issue, and that's one of the reasons we ran the show out in Texas, just to kind of get a lot of the women more noticed. Then we end up moving to Texas, but it was. I always felt like a lot of the women in California don't get the respect they deserve, especially when you're looking at like PWI magazines and stuff like that, and it's just like, where are the girls from California? Where are the girls from Washington area? Or the women in Arizona? So it's like they always just kind of get left out of the conversation, which I totally disagree with because I like with Centino's and APW and some of the other schools up there, they always had a more hard style, strong style of wrestling out in California that I really admired, and I just wish that more people would take notice of what's going on in California in that area.
Yeah, I mean, part of it's going to, part of it is definitely because we're like pretty much an island out here. The other part of it, though, I think also falls on us as female wrestlers to do a better job of promoting ourselves over our social media, over, Instagram, Twitter, maybe not necessarily Facebook anymore, because I feel like nobody really uses Facebook, like actually uses Facebook. Like we all have it, but do you use it?
Yeah.
So to do a better job at self-promoting. And that's one of the reasons why, I don't know if you ever heard of the show Up All Night. It was from Santino Brothers. Up All Night was a studio done show. We did it inclusive, no fans, no nothing. And one of the reasons why I wanted to do that show was to give people gifts for their Instagram, for their Twitter, photos, this, that. Like I thought of it as not only match training, like you get to, go do matches and stuff like that. You get to get exposure for working for cameras, but then you get all this content that you can use across your social medias. And that's one of the things I feel, especially younger girls, they don't ask for their matches. They don't ask for the photos. They don't ask for this, that. And it's all stuff you need. It's all self-promotion. If you're not looking at yourself as a business, being a wrestler, then you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like Front Row in the chat says, social media is such a powerful tool, not only for for promotion, but for telling stories. And I feel like with your background, you have such a powerful way of telling stories. And I know that Up All Night, right, that was your baby, right? Like you helped conceive that, you helped behind the scenes try to help make that happen. And it is so important to know, just like you run your business, like as independent wrestlers, everyone is running their own business. You are your business. And so knowing how to do your social media is so important. Brian and I talk about this all the time, about promoting, and everyone should be doing it, and at least find a way to learn how to do it.
Yeah. And there's no one right way, but there is a wrong way, and that's just to not do it. You could, I don't care if you go out, there's so many tools. There's Facebook, the Creator Studio. You could go through and you could literally schedule 75 days in advance. And then you could schedule it to Facebook, and you could cross schedule it to Instagram. Like there's so many free tools to just make it easy. Like
100%.
just do it. Yeah. I need to shake my finger at myself for that too. Like I need to do it more. I need to be more focused on doing it myself. But
yeah, I mean, there's so many programs there that like cost a little bit of money that like you can schedule things out. You can do so many things. So someone also in the chat asks, how important is promo work in addition to in-ring skill?
Well, I know a lot of wrestlers who weren't necessarily good wrestlers, but they were really good talkers. They're really good talkers, and I think that's a huge selling point. Sometimes I think it could be a selling point over your wrestling. I mean, and I'm not trying to knock Eddie Kingston. He is a fantastic wrestler, but he is in the top 1% of promos. And like, I know he's a good wrestler. I've seen his stuff, but when you tell me Eddie Kingston, I think king of the promos. Like I think of his promo work. I think of the way he talks, and like. Same thing with Tyler Bateman. I think Tyler Bateman is an amazing talker. Is he a good wrestler? Yes. But when I hear Tyler Bateman, I think of all these great promos that he talked. And I mean, there's other people too, like from WWE, Mankind. He had some really great promos. Like, I think the promo skills is one of those things where if you're really good at it, a lot of other things can be forgiven too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we see
at
that
Centino's, do they have like promo classes regularly?
I don't know about right now, but during the pandemic, when we were doing the online courses, like a big chunk of the courses were promo courses. And we'd even do promo battles. So it's like a tournament style brackets where you do promos against other people. So they do talk about that a whole lot.
Yeah, I've seen I've seen kind of during the pandemic, they were doing those seminars, virtual seminars, and there's a lot of psychology work, a lot of like really kind of discussing the development of characters, because that all is very important and feeds into your in-ring work, your promos, like you said. So that's all really like, you need to be well-rounded in all aspects. So I got to ask you this one, because this one is a juicy one. Mind Runner is asking, you have to pick one of these. Okay. A coffin match with Holodead, a cage match with Thunder Rosa, or a ladder match against La Rosa Negra.
Coffin match, because I really don't like climbing up on things. And I'm not afraid of the dark, so it's cool. Like, we'll do a coffin match. Like, ladder matches, like, God, how it goes up. I've done ladder matches that I hate going up ladders, and I've done cage matches, but I hate climbing up sides of the cage, and my feet are so big they don't really fit in those little holes.
Well, because I don't know if you've seen, Holodead has her big match this weekend, and she mentioned all of these other things like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre match and a coffin match. So lots of people are talking about a potential coffin match at some point in Mission Pro history. So we'll see.
Is it? But she has this time. She has a 4-way match. Yes,
she does.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it a 4-way title match, or is it like a 4-way?
It's a 4-way title match right now.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
That'll also be a really good one to watch.
Yeah. So bringing up like matches and stuff like that, I wanted to bring up a name that might ruffle some feathers with you. What about Miss Delilah Doom? Have you worked with her lately, or had any battles with her?
Last time I did was for the promotion Raise the Bar out here in Southern California. It was me and Delilah Doom, October, I think. Yeah, we went to war there. So that is ongoing. I will never stop fighting her. I will.
It's like a 6 or 7 year rivalry, huh? At this point.
Oh, absolutely. Like it all started with you guys. All started with you guys. That set it off, and ever since then, we've wrestled across 5 states, I think. 5 different states. I can't even count how many times, but I'll go to war with her anytime, anywhere, like anywhere. Tell me where, I'll go there. I'll fight her on a Sunday. I don't care.
I mean, how intense has it gotten between you two? Like, are you?
Well, she's busted my mouth up in a match before, and I took that blood and smeared it all over her face. I've definitely, given her that. I put the boots to her before. It gets pretty intense. I think when it comes to me and Delilah, we have that mutual respect that all bets are off, and it's whatever happens. Let's just go out there, and we're gonna end up beating the crap out of each other. It doesn't matter where we are.
Yeah, I always enjoyed that rivalry. That was always a good matchup.
It's what are we? We're in April now. It's been 4 months, and to this year, and I haven't wrestled her yet. So I'm itching for it. Like I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's go, Delilah.
You need to get a couple, confrontations in this year. It's only mid-April, so you're good. You have the whole year.
Yeah. No, it'll be handled. It's just gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So, in the chat, they were asking about women's wrestling, and it's become so popular in the last few years, thanks to promotions like Mission Pro, and the hard workers have paved the way. Do you feel like it's just a moment in time, or do you feel like we're paving the way and changing the industry as a whole?
I think we're definitely not at the pinnacle yet. We're still climbing up that hill, and part of it is because you see the stupid things that people write on social media about women's wrestling. So I think we're still climbing up that hill, but I think it's definitely, we're going a lot quicker nowadays compared to where we were back when I started wrestling in 2013. We've gone a lot quicker. We're not just the single match now all the time, because it used to be only like, oh, you get the one special attraction match, it's the women's match. We're not that anymore, thank God. But we still have a lot of things to fight against. We still have a lot of stereotypes to fight against. We still need to hold ourselves accountable more as well for what we do in the ring and our mentality and our practices, be it keeping going to training, be it wanting to push the bar and not just settle for being mediocre. Because if you're a female wrestler and you're okay being just okay, you need to stop wrestling. You need to step it up or stop. Like we can't deal with being mediocre.
I know you mentioned the negativity when it comes to women's wrestling on social media. Why do you think that people are more quick to point out that, oh, that was a bad women's segment? Just to give an example, tonight I was watching AEW tonight, and automatically that was a terrible match, and then right after that was a terrible segment. But you don't see when the guys have those things like that's a terrible segment. All the negativity, it seems to like people are, I don't know why, but it seems to people are more comfortable to badmouth the women's wrestling segments more so than the sometimes terrible segments for the men, you know?
Oh, absolutely. And they'll continue to do that. They've done that. I feel like they've always done that. It's the thing that was taught to me even when I just started being a manager. You're going to have to work 10 times harder for half the recognition. And that's just how it is. You know, there have been things that have happened in women's wrestling that left us in such a bad light that I feel like we're always going to be battling against these things. And people are quick to point it out because I don't know. I think sometimes they just want to make sure that we quote unquote know our place. Like, you know, it's wrestling. Wrestling wasn't women's wrestling. Okay, but we've been doing it for a long time. Okay, you know, it's not just a man's sport. It is a female sport too. It's an intergender sport, but they're always going to point at the women as being the inferior ones because we weren't the ones that started it. I don't know. And
No.
the only thing we could do to help that is we just got to hold ourselves at a higher standard. We just got to keep going. We got to keep going. We got to do better. We got to do better for ourselves and for the women that come after us.
Yeah. Do you try to like avoid engaging with the negativity, or do you?
Yes. Now I do. Now, like it took me years to actually start just like avoiding the negativity because at some given point you got to realize that feeding into the negativity actually helps spread the negativity even more. Like if someone writes an asinine comment on Twitter and I respond to it or I quote tweet it and go off on them, that does nothing that does nothing for me, but it just shows what that person is saying. And so I just gotta I need to not, because I won't feed that negativity and give it more attention.
Well, then you've truly become a vet now, because I remember when you first started, it'd be like the Ruby Raze or whatever you want to say. It was like, you know, like it's someone badmouth a women's segment. But I mean, that's good. Sometimes you just got to like blow it off and let them say their stupid stuff and just, you know, just ignore it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, in my head, like I'm saying it in my head, believe it. I'm saying it in my head, but like as far as it's honestly, it's a social media thing. The algorithm makes it come up, and there's a lot of dumb stuff that I would never have seen on my timeline if someone didn't respond to it. So like, just shut it down. Man.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like social media changed the game for many industries, but especially wrestling, because because people can hide behind a screen and hide behind a handle, and especially for young women that are up and coming in the industry, I feel like there's also bullying. There's like body image and shaming and so many other issues that come with having social media that you all have to deal with for being in the public eye, and especially being in wrestling. And so like you've been in the industry a long time, have had to deal with that evolution. Is there advice you can give for women that are struggling with people like all those horrible people on social media?
Yeah, I definitely used to see it a whole lot. I mean, I'm sure it's still out there, but number one, don't vanity search yourself. No, don't look yourself up, man. Honestly, it's just that whole stay in your lane thing. You know, I feel this is what I hate. I see this so much. You know, I'm coming for everything that they said I couldn't have. Everybody told me I couldn't do this. I have my haters out there. Like, I don't even, like, it's not even here. Like, I probably have my haters out there, but you're so far somewhere else because I'm too concentrated on what I'm doing. I need to focus on me being the best me that I could be, that I don't recognize this side noise going on. And that's kind of where you have to be if you want to really excel. And I'm not saying that I've totally excelled. By all means, I'm not putting myself over that way, but if you want to excel in this business or just get going and get some traction in this business, you have to cut out all the noise. And noise could be anything from these, you know, people chirping and saying all these negative things about you to people in your daily life saying these negative things about, you know, it's just become so involved with your supporters that you don't even realize that you have haters anymore. And on top of that, you got to learn to love yourself. Honestly, genuinely love yourself. Don't just say you love yourself. Honestly, love yourself. So you know that when you hear that crap, that's not it. You know who you are.
Yeah. Well spoken.
That's so important to remember. I feel like that kind of gets lost, you know, in that noise.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask a question from the chat. Do you feel that wrestlers, especially female wrestlers, are more vocal now about how matches are announced and the way promotions handle female matches?
I believe if I'm hearing this correctly, then I want to say yes. I feel like, and it goes back to that social aspect too. Like we have a platform actually to say stuff now, so we could say things like, the one that I saw, like, why does this promotion X only ever have one female match? Why does this promotion never have any? I think there was that PWG. Everybody was talking about how PWG has no female matches. So we have that way to express it now. Whether you want to express it or not, that's completely up to the person. But we also have that as a way of announcing our. I get hit in the head a lot. What's the word? Unenthusiasm or dislike, disregard. When I hate something. Okay, well, we could just sit there. We could talk crap about these commentators that sit there and talk about our butts and our boobs or our age or our looks in matches, like stuff like that. So we definitely have that outlet to say this stuff, and I'm definitely glad some of it's there, because some of the things like commentators say could get really out of hand, and that's really, not okay. Or the way people, just the way people announce this sometimes, man. Last time I was announced as a special attraction match, good Lord, the announcer got it.
oh my goodness. I mean, Melanie and I talked with Veda right before GCW, and she's announced with hundreds of matches, been on commentary, and we had a really deep conversation on this podcast about how women's matches are treated on commentary, and it still happens. There's some matches and shows that we've had to mute because we can't listen. It's just so disrespectful on so many levels.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that we definitely have to. That's why, having female broadcasters and having them on commentary, and that's why Mission is giving this platform so women can be the voice in all areas of the show, so that things like that don't happen.
Yeah, and that's really good. Like it's even the little things that you probably pass by you, but if you're really paying attention, like it's not right. Like to sit there, like if I'm sitting there and I'm, laying in some kicks to someone, those tremendous thick thighs of Ruby Raze going to town against it. It's like, why are you even talking about my thighs? I'm literally kicking this girl. Why don't you talk about the pain that she might be in? Like it's even the little things. And it's just, I think that also plays in too about how, like, when people don't have respect, it's because of little things like that as well. Like it's a bunch of stuff that puts together.
True.
So
do you have any other projects that you're currently working on right now, like in the wrestling industry? I know one, you could talk about it, so I don't know how much you can talk about it, but
So yeah, I back in January, actually on my birthday, I got the contract to re-sign with WOW, so I'm on with Women of Wrestling. We're getting ready to come up to our tapings here at the beginning of May, and that's going to be ongoing. I'm signed in there for a bit, so that'll be ongoing for a while. As far as doing promoting, I'm not doing Up All Night anymore. They've gone on and they're doing now fight nights at Santino, but I don't have time to be a part of that. Literally right now, like the bulk of my wrestling is going to be for WOW Women of Wrestling, and then I have some independent bookings outside of that, but I can't take a whole lot outside of that. But that's why I'm so stoked that I get to come here. Like I get to come to Mission. Yay.
Yeah. I mean, we're so excited. We're so excited to have you. Is there, is besides your own match, is there a match that you've seen us announce that you're looking forward to see on Saturday?
It was the Holiday 4-way match. Like when I saw that one announced, I was looking at all the girls in it, and I was like, ooh. So that one's going to be pretty cool, and that's just going to be a straight up, no stipulations, just a straight match.
You never know. Things are always subject to change.
Fair.
Card subject to change.
Fair, yeah.
I don't think anything is ever normal when we're dealing with Holiday.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to deal with just a normal match with Holiday. No.
I think, well, I mean, a 4-way match in itself is like that's a Whew, that's a big one. I love 3-way matches. I don't
Yeah,
love being in 4-way matches, so that's a whole nother beast. That's a whole nother level. So I'm actually
yeah,
really looking forward to that one because when you get that many people in the ring, like you could get some real crazy creativity going on.
yeah. I know you were kind of with Holodead basically at the beginning of her career too. Not really with
Yeah,
her, but you've worked with her a lot and stuff like that.
yeah, and it's really honestly it's insane how much she's evolved. And then I saw her most recent set of gear, the one piece, and I'm just
Oh,
like she just leveled up again.
Amazing.
Like
yeah,
from where she started at and like the gear that she had when she started, how she was, to seeing her evolve in the indies, to seeing what she did with WoW because she was on there for a while, to
yeah,
see where she's going now, and the fact that she is out here in like England doing her thing, and with this new gear, this gear is pretty sick. So it's just been nice to see how like people evolve and people that actually stay here, that actually love it, that continue to strive to get better. People like Holodead, just watch them grow. It's been great.
yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible to see everyone grow and their journey. Is there anyone like new coming up on the scene, either from Mission Pro that you've seen that you're keeping an eye on, or anyone else kind of around that you're like, oh, this is going to be like the next big female wrestling star?
Yeah. As far here in Southern California, actually, I was going to put it on Savannah Stone because when she got here, like she was determined, she's dedicated, she's willing to go, she's willing to, put it all out there on the line. I think she just started, and I'm very, very proud of her for this. She just started flying back to the East Coast to do stuff back on the East Coast. And now that she's here, she went back, she did CZW, she went back, she did CCW, she's going back to St. Louis and stuff. So I think if she stays on the track that she's going, that's going to be really good for her. And she just started championship wrestling. As far as anybody else on the indies that isn't in Southern California,
I put you on the spot.
yeah.
No worries.
I know I definitely say Savannah, but as far as anybody that is newer on the, who I like, and I just got to meet her recently too, but Rekka, she's from Utah. You know what I'm talking about?
Tanaka.
Yeah, I can't say her last name right, so I'm not gonna say
Yeah,
it.
she signed with WoW also, right?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
But like the stuff that I saw her doing on the indies, because she's Samoan and there's not a ton of female Samoan wrestlers. Like she's legit Samoan. Like she was showing us the haka they do and all that. And she was actually doing really good. She went out to the Nightmare Factory. She was trained out there. And then she got signed to WoW, but she was doing indies around Denver. I actually met her in Denver. I met her in Denver first. And she has a great look. She has these tattoos and she has this like distinct believability about her. And I don't know if that's just like the Samoan in her coming out, but I believe that she's really going to go out there and kick someone's ass.
Yeah, she definitely has a mean look when she looks pissed off. They're like, whoa, let me not cross her.
Yeah.
So we're almost at time, but we want to do some fun little Mission Pro matchup questions that are fun that Melanie and I usually do. Do you prefer sweet or savory snacks?
Savory.
All right. Do you have what's your go-to savory?
I like the trail mixes that are like the like savory spices.
Okay. That sounds good. Breakfast or dinner?
Dinner.
If you could listen to one album forever, what would it be?
Oh, Songs from an American Movie by Everclear. Part 1.
Part 1. All right.
Yeah, there's 2.
Are you a cat or dog person?
Cat.
All right. Me too. What's your binge-worthy show right now that you just like can't stop watching, or you finished in one session?
I'm like, okay, I'm offended at this question, not because it's the question, because I'm offended with myself. And I don't know if you've ever seen this show called Lodge 49.
No.
There's this show called Lodge 49, and I started watching it, and I had to start tweeting about it because I didn't understand if I liked the show or if I really just hated it, but I kept watching it, and like I keep watching it, and now I just got to the end of season 1, and I was literally up at 2 a.m. going, and so I'm really involved in this show, but I still can't tell if I really like it or not. I think I like it.
Okay.
Just watch it.
Is it on Netflix?
It's on Netflix. It's called Lodge 49.
Okay.
And it drew me in, and then I hated it, but then I liked it, then I hated it. Like, you got it. Just watch the first episode. Just go watch the first episode. It's an hour long.
Okay. All right. See, my guilty pleasure is the reality shows that, like Love is Blind and all that is like one of those shows I can just put on and kind of have, but then you get sucked into the madness and the drama.
I can't do that. If I put on TV, I have to watch the TV. I got to.
Awesome. Brian, do you have any like fun questions you want to ask?
No fun questions. I'm just excited to see you coming out on Saturday, or I don't know if you're coming out on Friday or Saturday, but just excited to see you again and catch up and see how you've developed or improved or what you have in store for us, and hoping you put a whipping on JP's ass.
I'll tell you this much. I definitely have evolved as a wrestler. I'm not as fast in the ring anymore, meaning I don't go running around circles around people because I realize that I'm not a small girl. Look at that.
Yeah, we're excited. I'm excited to like get the band back together. One quick question from Melanie: what's your go-to road food? So when you're driving around to shows, what's that thing you have to have in your car?
No, I don't.
Nothing?
I don't.
Nothing?
Maybe like.
No, energy drink, coffee.
No, I really don't drink energy drinks anymore. Like I don't really drink energy drinks. I drink water. I mean, I don't really drink alcohol, but I guess that wouldn't be good for the road anyway.
No, we learned that lesson. No.
I think if I have to choose something, it would probably be like a gummy something, like either gummy lifesavers or gummy bears or gummy something, just like something to, yeah.
Okay, like a little keep you busy.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on a mission. Where can people follow you, buy your merch, and we're excited to see you this weekend.
I make everything really easy. You could all my social media is under Razor Pops, which is like right there.
Yeah, right there.
Right there. That's all my social media. You can pretty much find me everywhere, and even public places that I shouldn't be. So just look me up there. And as far as merch, I'll have some at Mission Pro.
Bring your merch. Everyone, Mission Pro fans are rabid merchandise fans. They love it. So
I'll tell you what, I'll have your stickers for your water bottles. I definitely have a bunch of stickers that I'll be bringing, like the equal opportunity ass kicker stickers for your water bottle and stuff like that. So bringing those out, and then just connect with me on social media. You can find me on YouTube and find an archive of my matches if you want to go ahead and watch me on YouTube. Razor Pops as well. Make it easy.
Sounds good. Brian, where can everyone follow you?
They don't need to follow me. Just follow Mission Pro. That's all I can.
All right, everyone. You heard Brian. Follow Mission Pro on all of our social media platforms. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We also now have a TikTok. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit that little bell button to get notifications for new videos and content. And I heard in the chat that Melanie will be going live on Mission Pro's channel at 1:00 tomorrow, 1 p.m. Central. And she's going to have a quick conversation about JP and drop this huge news that Brian dropped today. So you don't want to miss that. Check out the YouTube channel when that goes live. Check our socials. And thank you all so much for joining us for On a Mission. You can follow me on all socials at Emily May Heller. And remember, get your tickets for Living on the Edge this weekend at missionprowrestling.net. And sponsorships are still available for the next 2 days. You can email missionprowrestling@gmail.com and check our socials for all of the talent that's available. Even our broadcasters, Denise, Haley, Brittany, are all available to be sponsored as well. So go and email and sign up. It's a great way to be involved in the Mission Pro family.
Yep.
So thank you all so much for joining. And tomorrow we have another special episode with Brittany Blake, and we'll be chatting about her debut this weekend as well. Thank you, Ruby, so much. Thank you, Brian, for joining us.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
we will see you tomorrow night. Thank you all. Have a good
Bye.
night.